Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. I wasn't here last week. Started a little bit earlier today. Osama unfortunately couldn't make it. So me and Paul were kind of bored, so we decided to start at 4:30. Let's get started. Let's play a little intro. Okay. I thought it was a little bit longer, but that's not a problem. XYZ, thank you. Let me get rid of this. We don't need that. Remove that. I believe. Let me make this so we can see it better. Okay. We were on chapter 12, verse 58. Jesus Worldwide. Good to see you. If you want to come up, let me know. I'll post the link on the chat. I think we're going to have somebody from Clubhouse. She's going to join. I don't know if she's going to join the panel.
You said what verse? 58.
58.
Okay. Reunion of Joseph and his brothers. Okay.
Dragon, good to see you. Lucy, good to see you. Lucy? Oh, okay. I was just going to ask you if you were blue. Okay, if you want to come up, anybody wants to come up and have some fun. Okay, okay. Invite. Copy. Okay, there you go. Okay, yeah, so we're on 58, chapter 12. Let me change the screens. I won't be able to see anybody. Okay, so I got to follow the wishes of Brother Osama. We're going to start off with the reunion of Joseph and his brothers is told here. Okay, so we go to verse 58. And Joseph's brothers came, so they entered into him. That is so perverted. When I read that, and it says, and they entered into him.
No, it doesn't say in. You leave it entered to him.
Oh, and they entered to him. So they entered to him. That's still
kind of odd.
Yeah, and I told you, the more I read this stupid book, the more I start seeing things. Okay,
well,
so Joseph,
like I said, it's base. You have to look at it as someone. I mean, you get it.
Yeah.
Who doesn't know Arabic as their primary language, writing it? That's the only thing that makes sense.
I mean, even with English not being my native tongue or my first language, I don't think I would make or I've ever made these kind of mistakes. Maybe when I was in, I don't know, second, third grade. When they threw
when you
me
first
in.
moved, that's what I would look at. The person who did this was their first attempt.
Because I can tell you, I cried when I came to the States with my parents. They put me, I did first grade over in Portugal, and they put me straight to second grade. There was no ESOL, whatever. So they threw me in second grade. So I had people that were speaking Spanish. I had kids that were speaking English, and I had kids that were speaking Chinese.
Oh,
I didn't know what the heck was going on, but I had this really great teacher in Sesame Street and flashcards that by the time I was in the third grade, I could communicate with my fellow students. But yeah, the first year was rough. Okay, so and Joseph's brothers came, so they entered to him. Okay, so he knew them. I mean, really? We have to know that he knew them? It starts off by saying Joseph's brothers came. You would think that Joseph would know who his brothers are, but, this is Allah. And they were unaware of him. Okay, I mean, I can understand. They dumped the poor kids.
They've been gone how long, and they haven't seen him in how long? I don't know that, if you're away from your own children for so long, you're not, you wonder if you know them.
I don't know. It would have to be a major change for me not to recognize, let's say, my brother. I mean, he would have to totally change because you kind of pretty much keep the same characteristics. Maybe you get taller.
I mean, they might have had the Egyptian style and stuff you probably wouldn't expect.
Maybe the hairdo or lack of hair. Maybe he got a really nice tan. Who knows? But yeah. Okay, so they were unaware of him. Let me see if anybody. Oh, all right. Larry wants to come up. Okay, Larry, good to see you. Okay, all right. So, and when he had provided them with their provision, he said, "Bring me a brother of you from your father. Do you not see that I fill the measure and I am the best of hosts?" Okay. And when he had provided them, I mean, no, hello, I'm your brother. It just jumps into, and when he had provided them with their provision, what provision? He said, "Bring me a brother of you from your father." Man, that is rough.
Well, I think he's trying to push the story into a small, compact manner, and that's the issue. They try to scrunch the Bible story in, and it just they don't get the whole impact of it.
Okay, I see
They're
we got a
crushing it.
bot. I'm not on YouTube.
I'll go there and get rid of the
Okay.
Decepticons.
I think I got them.
You know what I
Good
noticed
job,
today?
thank you.
What I noticed today on Twitter, for some strange reason, there's a lot of Asian porn. All these accounts that I had to block because I'm like, I mean, what's going on? It's bad enough that Joe Biden has now joined forces with the CCP communists to interfere in our election because they're going to let TikTok.
I don't even see him, so you really must have got him.
So I see him on the chat on the StreamYard. I'm not on.
Yeah,
YouTube.
but I don't see him on YouTube, which is really weird.
Yeah, this is weird. So now we're using TikTok to tell us what is election misinformation. Yeah.
Weird.
Don't you think that's treason? Allowing a communist country to have access to the election and to tell the American people what they should and should not read or hear? I mean, I find
it is actually considered well those very it's actually would be, depending on how it's worded, and since it's going out in a broad format, it actually could follow under the law that would call it seditious conspiracy or the sedition. That's what the law would look at first before they would go to treason.
Yeah, and I would think either one of them would be ground sufficient to get you impeached.
What we're seeing with the illegal warrant signed by a judge who has no legal right to sign a warrant.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So let me go back to 59. Apologize for that. And when he had provided them with their provision, he said, "Bring me a brother of you, okay, from your father." Okay.
Wait a minute. Okay, listen. Let's read this again. Joseph's brothers came.
Right.
Why? I mean, are they missing something here?
I don't know.
They didn't say that X amount came. Do they know how many brothers there are?
Well, it says when Joseph's brothers came, and I'm pretty sure if I looked at the Arabic, that would be plural.
Yeah.
Which would mean at least 3.
Yes.
So they entered to him. Okay, whatever that means. So he knew them. Okay, so he recognized his brothers. I'm pretty sure it was ingrained into his brain that they did what they did to him.
And he gave them something. He says he provided them with a provision.
So his brothers came. They entered to him. He knew them. They didn't know him. He provided them with something. We don't know what it is. And then he said, "Bring me a brother of you from your father." Wait a minute. If they're brothers of his, maybe he doesn't want them to know that he's the brother yet. So maybe that's why he says from your father, because I mean, it's his father.
Well,
okay.
That's part of the story, but it's interesting that, I mean, he's telling, there's no communication here to indicate that they would know that. I mean, there's no questioning. There's no story. How does he know that they're missing a brother? I mean, that's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you do not bring him to me, I'm sorry. Do you not see that I fill the measure and I am the best of the hosts? Fill what measure? We don't know what this provision is. Not according to the Quran. We do according to the biblical story. So, verse 60. So if you do not bring him to me, so no measure will there be for you from me, nor will you come near me. Okay, so if you don't bring me one of your brothers, I'm not going to give you a measure. But above, he already gave them their provision.
So it's like,
So is he going to take it back now?
it is rather confusing, and that's what it sounds like. Yeah,
I
it
mean,
sounds like you can't say the phrase "no takebacks" because it almost implies that that's what's going to happen.
because in 59 it says, and he provided them with their provision. That means he gave them something. But then if you read 60, he's saying, so if you don't bring him to me, meaning he asked for them to bring a brother, no measure will be there for you from me. That means he's going against 59, which he already provided them with their provision.
Oh, maybe he abrogated the previous verse with his.
Oh, okay. Nor will you come near me. Man, they must be really far from him. I mean, if he's talking to them, wouldn't that make you like close?
They're the ones that, I mean, Muhammad or whoever wrote this.
I mean, unless what he means by "nor will you come near me," maybe he's saying, "Okay, man, you're not going to be able to hug me." But then again, why would they hug him? Okay, they said, "We will persuade his father of him." Okay, these guys are talking about their father.
His father? Is that a separate child that's not related to them?
I guess. Aren't they all sons of the same guy?
We're talking about Benjamin. I mean, come on. It's like a different dad. And they're talking about a father of all of them. His father, not our. Again, this is a common, I mean, these are the things that you would expect from, I mean, that's still kind of iffy to say that you would see it from Essel, but I mean, English speakers of a second language, but or Arabic speakers of second languages, but it's Arabic that's the issue, because this is the exact translation from the Arabic, so it's got to make you wonder. It's just badly written Arabic is when it comes down to.
They said, "We will persuade his father of him, and we will surely do that." I mean, you're right when you mentioned before that this sounds like maybe it was somebody that's like in the third grade, third grade. I don't know, comprehension skills or level of writing. Because
well, if you look at Arabs back then, education was not a priority. I'm not saying it is today, but it says something. If followers of Islam, education is not the largest priority. So if we got a third, that might have been the highest level at some point for the persons who were the scholars. I hate to say that, but it makes you wonder when this is the kind of communication they do.
Okay, 62. And he said to his young men, so I guess he had a whole bunch of people working for him, put their merchandise into their bags. Perhaps. Okay, so, but who's really talking here? It doesn't say. Okay, perhaps
it's supposed to be Joseph. That's the thing, and he said to his young men, put their merchandise. This is supposed to be Joseph speaking, but again, the timing is he's combining the story. I mean, he's blurring the story together. That's how badly this is written.
And he said to his young men, put their merchandise into their bags. Perhaps they may know it when they return to their family. Perhaps they will come back. Okay.
Perhaps. Oh, that got it. Perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, the whole Quran is perhaps. Okay, so when they returned to their father, they said, "Oh, our father, we have been denied our measure." But wait a minute, he just gave them.
So this is a yes, I did. No, I didn't. Yes, I did. No, I didn't. Yes, no. Yes, no. But the Quran is clear. No, yes, no, yes.
We have been denied our measure, so send our brother with us. Okay, I guess they came to get
Maybe
Benjamin.
They got a half measure, but again, it says in verse 58 when he had provided them with their provision.
Yeah.
But we were denied. So are they making the Joseph out to be a liar?
And also in 62, where he's telling the guys, the young men, put their merchandise into their bags. What merchandise? Wouldn't that be provisions? Wouldn't that be a
Again,
measure?
yeah, this is because the
Unless
teller of the
Joseph,
story here has
yeah,
no clue.
unless Joseph confiscated their merchandise and then put it back in their bags, but we don't get that. Okay. Our Father, we have been denied our measure, so send our brother with us, and we will have our measure, and surely we will be keepers of him. Oh, yeah, they did a good job the first time. I wouldn't trust them. He said, okay, I know this is the Father, but anybody else would not know. He said, will I entrust you with him, except as I entrusted you before with his brother? Wow, I must have had the, you know, mind reading abilities, because that's
Well,
kind of
I
like what I
entrust.
said. Why
Well,
would I
wait a minute.
trust you guys?
We have our measure. Well, I mean, I wouldn't even understand what he's trying to communicate here. Will
Right.
I entrust you with who? Except as I entrusted you before. Oh, he's talking about, okay. All right. So this is supposed to be
Yeah, the
Joseph's
father's kind of
dad.
saying, "Yo, why would I trust you with Benjamin when I trusted you with Joseph?
And what,
Look what
and you didn't
happened
bring
to
him
him."
back.
Yeah, you guys said the wolf, the wolf or whatever ate him. Okay. And when they opened their bags, they found their merchandise had been returned to them. They said, "Oh, our father, we did not desire that our merchandise would be returned to us." Okay, why would you say that you didn't want your merchandise returned? I mean, if it's your merchandise, wouldn't you want it back? Did I lose anybody?
No, I think you made sense.
Okay. Right. So now they're telling their father, "Oh, we didn't want our stuff back. We will bring food to our families, and we will keep our brother, and will increase." I don't have the other Quran up.
Okay.
You have
Um,
yours,
okay, we're reading.
number 13.
Oh, okay, I'll get it. Just a second. 13. Camel.
And we will increase a camel measure.
Yep.
Okay. This is an easy measure. Again, these people are
So this
speaking
are
like,
the camel measure. It's a load that a camel could carry.
okay, but this is an easy measure. I mean, this is like definitely like ignorant people who really didn't know how to speak.
They didn't know
He
how to
said,
communicate very well, that's for sure.
he said, I will not send him with you until you bring me a firm oath from Allah that you will return him back to me unless you are constrained. So when they brought him their pledge, he said, Allah is the guardian above what we say. Whoa, wait a minute. Allah gave them an, whoa, how did that happen?
Well, it's
How did
even more
Allah's,
funny because I mean, there's no mention of Allah in the Old Testament.
but here's the
So
thing.
yeah,
According to
and
Islamic,
where's this guy Allah all of a sudden appear? He didn't exist until the time of Muhammad.
how do you bring an oath from Allah? Did Allah write in a piece of paper? I, Allah, affirm that these young men will return your son. But Allah never spoke to anybody except Moses.
Hmm.
Very strange. Because they brought a pledge. They came back with a pledge from Allah. How did that happen? And he said, "Oh, my sons, do not enter by one door and enter by different doors." Whoa, wait a minute. Is everybody going to have a door? And yet I cannot profit you against anything decreed by Allah, for the judgment to Allah alone. On him I depend, and on him, so let the depender depend. Sounds like a good name for diapers.
Let the depender depend. I mean, wow, that's really confusing. On him I depend, and then let. Oh my gosh, If that's not confusing.
I don't know. Oh, my sons, do not enter by one door, and enter by different doors.
Wait a minute. Where are these doors?
Okay, how many
Okay,
doors
wait a
are
minute. He has 12 sons, and there's
there?
11 of them there with him. Are you
So,
telling them
so,
each to go in a
so
different door?
I was just gonna say, and to be honest, I had read, I read it wrong because I read it. Oh, my sons, do not enter by one door and do not leave by different doors. But then I just noticed it says, and do not enter by one door and enter by different doors. And yet I cannot profit you against any decreed by Allah, for judgment to Allah alone. On him I depend, and on him so let the depender depend.
I don't
I
know if
mean,
I could depend on someone who can't be dependable. I
if
mean,
this
this
is
is the
if this
guy
is
that
not
this is the Allah that says it doesn't matter what you do. It's up to me if I decide that you're worth my time, or
right, and
let me torture you type thing.
this is this is nothing more than word salad that doesn't really make any sense. Oh, my sons, do not enter by one door,
Yeah.
enter by different doors. So, like you said, what?
Where's the
There's
doors?
11 doors. Yeah, yeah. Where are the doors? All right. So
And do they all
Joseph
have to go into different doors? Is the other question. I mean,
so Joseph reveals to his brother, which one, at the time of the brother's arrival in Egypt, that he is his brother. However, the brothers seem to be unaware of this fact during the rest of the verses. Oh, this got to be fun. Okay, 68. And when they entered as their father had commanded them, so they each went through a different door, but they came to the same place. It was not averted from them anything against Allah, but it only served to satisfy a need in the soul of Jacob. And surely he was possessed of knowledge. We had taught him, but most people do not know. Okay, I guess this is Allah, because I'm going to say, who taught Jacob knowledge?
okay, but it only serves to satisfy a need in the soul of Jacob, and surely it's possessed. Okay, so Jacob has a unique set of knowledge. Why? Because it's not from Allah; it's from the Lord God. Allah is too small to give him that kind of stuff, and surely, okay. So, and it says we had taught him, but most people do not know. Well, Allah doesn't know what Joseph knows because, all right. And when they entered unto Joseph, he took his brother to him, which would be Benjamin. Which would be the same brother from his mother, that the two were from the same mom. He said, surely I am your brother, so do not grieve for what they were doing.
Okay, but let's go back. And when they entered into Joseph, so it's a group because it starts off when they.
Yeah.
Onto Joseph, who's he?
Joseph would be he. So Joseph takes his brother to himself. So Joseph takes
so
Benjamin.
he embraces.
But
Okay.
this is humorous here because
Yeah.
this displays they don't know Benjamin's name.
Right.
So
He said,
it's
surely I am. Okay, so he took him kind of like, like
I
you're my
like
long
I'm sorry,
lost
I like
brother.
XYZ's comment. I'm losing brain cells listening to the Quran.
You're my long lost brother. I hug you and I tell you, hey, I'm your brother, Joseph. So surely I am your brother. So do not grieve for what they were doing. Shouldn't it be what they did or what they have done?
Mm-hmm. Well,
Okay.
we don't know what they were doing. I mean, that's the other part of this.
Right.
Do
But
not
see,
grieve for
you
what
and
they were
I have,
doing. What were they doing that's so
yeah,
grievous? I mean,
but
we have no clue.
you and I know, because of the fact that we've read the Bible and we understand this mismatched story. We know what he would be talking about. He's referring to when they sold him or when they dumped him in the ditch or the well, whatever you want to
But
call it.
that's not no. Actually, that's where he's mixing the stories up. Because
Yeah.
right now they're not doing anything against Benjamin. In fact, they become overprotective brothers because of the stupid act, and that's the Bible story. So this confuses the two stories together. Yeah, they've had to become overprotective because their father fears, and Yeah.
So do not grieve. So do not grieve for what they were doing. What they were doing. Well, they've already done it. It's in the past.
Yes.
Yeah. So again, Allah doesn't know the difference between present, future, and past.
Yes.
So when he had provided them with their supplies, he placed his drinking vessel in his brother's pack. Then a caller called, "Oh, travelers, surely you are thieves." Okay. Did he set them up? Did he like steal a cup from the king and put it in their bags? They said, and they turned back to them. What? What did you miss? I don't know, man. I'm missing my brain cells here. Okay. So when he had provided them with their supplies, he placed his drinking vessel in his brother's pack. Then a caller called, "Oh, travelers, surely you are thieves." They said, and they turned back to them. It should have been, and they turned back and said, "What did you miss?" Who's asking? Who's asking who missed what?
And we missed the king's drinking cup. That's what that is. That's
Whoa, but wait a minute. But this is Joseph's cup. Is Joseph
yes.
a king?
And again, this is where it gets kind of.
I mean, it
You
says
don't
here.
understand Joseph and the word king. I mean, it would correctly apply to Pharaoh, but Pharaoh. I mean, Joseph is a servant of the Pharaoh.
Yeah, he's not a
He
king.
serves at his maybe servant's not the correct word. He serves at his pleasure. He is a.
Well, you could say
It would rightly be said he's a kind of ruler, but he's
he's
not.
his right
Not
hand
the king.
man, but he's
Yeah.
still not the king.
Yes,
And
but
it
that's too
clearly
much for Allah to know.
right, and it clearly states that Joseph placed his drinking cup
Yes,
in his brother's pack, not the king's
yes.
drinking cup. But then they get accused of stealing the king's cup.
Which is, again, this is what you call Muhammad doesn't know. How many things does Muhammad know? The list is too big. It's too big.
And to him, we will restore it a camel's load. So I guess they're saying
that
if
doesn't
you
make any
return the
sense.
king,
And to him, who will restore the camel's load? So what? So if they just simply turned it over, they would give
I
them a
think that's
reward
what they're trying to say. Hey, whoever returns it, we're going to give them a camel's load,
of supplies.
and I guarantee it. Who's guaranteeing it?
That will
The
be
caller.
the caller, I guess.
Who's the caller? What's the
That's a good
caller's?
question. It's
What's
got to
the
be a
caller's?
servant of Joseph.
Yeah, what's the caller's position? How can he guarantee that he's okay?
This is just kind of weird, no matter how you look at it.
They said, "We swear by Allah." Actually, I don't even think "we swear" is in the Arabic.
It's not there. Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering. He just probably.
That's
So
why
it
it's in the
basically says they said, "By Allah, indeed, you know, we did not come to vandalize in the land, and we are not thieves."
Now that wording is very, very important. When they talk about vandalizing in the land, that is an accusation that is made against non-Christians to Muslims, and that's simply for being non-Muslims.
XYZ says, let me put that up there. He says, "I'm losing brain cells listening to the Quran."
Yep.
I don't know how I'm ever going to write the book. I was wondering if Osama would give me permission to use his translation.
Yeah, he will. I'm pretty sure.
Versus the sales. Sales is just too rough.
Now wait for his next update coming out.
Yeah.
It should be out this.
Yeah, I haven't even started.
I think it'll be out sometime this fall or this.
So in the next couple months, you're saying?
Yeah, I know that he's in the last steps, so
okay.
It might be December, but it's really close.
I mean, I can still because I have to kind of basically start over. But could you imagine if we put all these shows together? Because these are really good ones. Because I mean,
well, that's actually we'll talk about it offline. There's a way we can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. 74. They said, "So what is the penalty if you were liars?" Why
But
they
who's
asking
the?
him? Why they asking him the penalty? Like, how are they supposed to know what the penalty is for being a liar?
I mean, and again, we have the personage here really confused. Who
Yeah.
the they here should be Joseph's brothers asking. So what is the penalty if we are liars? It should be. And now the they. I mean, we had a caller, and that was a you. Okay, or it could have been a second person. So what is the? Yeah, it's too confusing. And that's 75. Why don't you read that one?
They said his penalty for the one. Why are they saying his penalty? It should just say the penalty for the one in whose pack you find it. So he is the. Oh, okay. They said his penalty for the one whose pack you find it. So he is the penalty. What?
So he has to stay behind. That's what they're saying.
Ah,
Whoever stole it can't leave.
again, you and I would probably do a hell of a better job of making the coherent sense because it would have made more sense if Allah would have written it down like you just said.
Well, all Allah had to do was actually go to Genesis and copy a little bit better.
I mean, it's like seriously, it's like they put this together for some kind of like rhyming when you recite. Because when you read this stuff, I'm sorry, Muslims, it's not an insult, but this stuff makes you stupid. Okay, likewise, we reward the unjust.
We just got a huge echo from you.
Sorry, that was me. I turned my mic on. I was just going to ask, isn't the point of the Quran to kind of make the Bible more understandable or correct it? But all of this is just making things a mess.
That's exactly it. I thank you. That is exactly it, Larry. It's just it's a sad, sorry mess.
I agree, Larry, but Muslims tell us that the Quran came to correct the mistakes in the Bible, but we can't even understand the Quran and what it's trying to say. Now, why would anybody say, likewise, we reward the unjust? What does that even mean? I mean, I have to sit here and try to figure out what it's kind of like who were the code deciphers back in World War II, where you had the Indians and they were good at deciphering the code. It's almost like you got to have a decoder ring to be able to understand what the hell Allah is trying to tell us. Likewise, we reward the unjust. Okay, don't know what that means. So he began with their bags before his brother's bags. Okay, and then he drew it out from his brother's bag. Likewise, we schemed for Joseph that he was not to take his brother into the judgment of the king, except if Allah wills. We raise decrees of whom we will. Okay, but how did Allah's speech get thrown in here? Who the hell is talking?
This is where it's getting problematic.
I mean, we know that somebody is going through their bags and they leave his brother's bags for last. And then he threw it out from his brother's bag. We don't know which brother. Likewise, we schemed. Okay, I guess now all of a sudden Allah comes in and says, he schemed for Joseph that he was not to take his brothers into the judgment of the king. Who schemed? Allah schemed? I have no clue, except if Allah wills. Okay. And then somebody comes in and says, we raise degrees of whom we will, and above everyone with knowledge, more knowledgeable. Okay.
When we finish this section, I want to read the part from Genesis to show you how much more clear it is than the messy mistakes in the Quran.
Okay. 77. They said, we don't have a clue, but I'm assuming it's the brothers of Joseph. If he has stolen, so indeed his brother has stolen before.
Wait a minute. How does that make you so now you're a thief twice?
And which brother are they referring to as having stolen before?
Well, and this doesn't. Again, this is confusion because you'll find out when I read this
Okay.
story. Yeah.
So Joseph kept it secret in his soul and did not disclose it to them. Disclose what? Oh, that he's the brothers? No, wait a minute. So, okay, so he told Benjamin, but he didn't tell the other ones. Okay. Okay. He said, you are in an evil position, and Allah knows what you describe. Okay. They said, oh, you, the dear, surely he has a very aged father. So take one of us instead of him. Surely we see that you are of the doers of the good. Okay, so I guess Jacob has preferences. So if they take Benjamin, that's going to affect their father. But if they take one of the another one of them, then it's okay.
Well, they're the ones who lost Joseph.
Yeah, it wouldn't be cool to lose him too. They're
And
gonna
that
come
would
back.
be and,
They're gonna
and
come.
and you know, you look at it this way, their mother only had the two.
They're gonna come back and it's like, oh man, now I lost two sons. I told you not to go with, not to
Yeah.
let him
The
go.
mother would be a wreck.
They said, oh, you okay? He said, Allah's refuge. What does that mean? That's
Well,
like an
refuge is supposed to
incomplete
be a safe
sentence.
place, but I don't know if there's a safe place in Allah.
He said Allah's refuge. Yeah, but that's an incomplete. That doesn't make sense. Okay. He said Allah's refuge. That we should take anyone but him, with whom our property was found. For then we should act unjustly. I guess they're saying it wouldn't be just of us to take somebody else in place of the one who stole the cup.
Yeah.
All right. So when they had lost hope of him, they went and spoke privately. The oldest of them said, did you not know that your father indeed has taken a firm oath from you before Allah, and how formerly you failed in your duty with regard to Joseph? So I will not depart the land until my father gives me permission, or may Allah judge for me, and he is the best of the judges.
He's always got to be the best. It's got to
Yeah.
repeated over and over again. The
Yeah.
best, the best, the best, the best.
Return to your father. So say, oh, okay. Return to your father. So say, oh, our father, surely your son has stolen. Now they're going to blame the poor kid for stealing. We bear witness only of what we knew. That doesn't make sense.
They're saying they didn't know it. That's all it is. They're just saying they didn't know.
We bear witness.
Don't
of
blame
what,
us. We didn't know he did it.
and we were not a keeper to the unseen.
So they're all pointing their fingers at Benjamin.
All right, 82. And ask the village which we were in, and of the caravan with which we arrived, and surely we are truthful. I mean, this is just a complete mumbo jumbo.
Oh, it is.
Now I see why some of these translators try to, kind of clean it up a little bit. He said, yet you have arranged all this affair among yourselves. So patience is beautiful. Perhaps Allah will bring all of them to me. Surely he is the knowing and the wise.
Okay. Let me
read
read
the
this
book.
part. I'm going to share this.
Let's show Allah how it should be done.
Yes. We're going to only go up to the point where Joseph is there, and let me just share my screen so everybody can see I'm not making stuff up. I'm using the Blue Letter Bible, which is my favorite, and that actually comes from, if you could put us on the, here we go. So this is the King James version, but I love the Blue Letter Bible. If you have extra cash flowing around, I highly, highly, highly recommend this service of Blue Letter Bible. All right, let me go back up here. Back one verse. Okay, so everybody can see it. And Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto them. And so he kind of, it's, so now you know why they didn't know him. He did something specifically to hide his face from them, and spake roughly unto them. And he said unto them, where do you come? Whence come you? Where do you come from? And they said, from the land of Canaan to buy food. Oh, that's pretty clear. And Joseph knew his brethren, but they didn't know him. Again, it says here he did something to hide his appearance. Okay. And Joseph remembered the dreams which he had dreamed of them, and said unto them, you were spies to see the nakedness of the land, and you are come. And they said to him, no. We're here to buy food, as our to buy the food, as your servants come. We are all one man's sons. We are true men. Your servants are no spies. And he said unto them, no, but to see the nakedness of the land you are come. And they said, your servants are 12 brothers, the sons of one man in the land of Canaan. And behold, the youngest is this day with our father, and one is not. Oh, so we now know why, again, the story was messed up in the Quran. So how did they know? So how did Joseph know one of them was left behind? The ruler that they didn't know, how did he know? They told him. But the Quran doesn't tell you that. Oh, and the one that's not, who just happens to be standing before them. Yeah. And Joseph said unto them, that is it, that I spoke unto you, saying, you are spies. Hereby you shall be proven. By the life of Pharaoh, you shall not go forth hence, except your youngest brother comes here. Send one of you, and let him fetch your brother, and you shall be kept in prison, that your words may be proven, whether there be any truth in you, or else by the life of Pharaoh, surely you are spies. And he put them all together in the ward 3 days. And Joseph said unto them the third day, and I got to get my mouse back over here, sorry. All right. This do and live, for I fear God. Notice this third day, keep thinking about that. If you be true men, let one of your brothers be bound in the house of your prison. Go and carry corn for the famine of your houses. So Joseph has compassion. He gives them the grain that they need for the family. All right, cool. They go and they take the grain, and one of them stays in the prison. There's no way that, the grain they need they have servants, it's more than just those 12 men, just 12 or 13. It's, entire families. So think about it. So, and they said one to another, but bring your youngest brother into me, so shall your words be verified, and you shall not die. And they did so. And they said one to another, we are verily guilty concerning our brother, in that we saw the anguish of his soul when he besought us, which is begged, and we would not hear him. Therefore is this distress come upon us. And Reuben answered them, saying, spake I not unto you, saying, do not sin against this child, and you would not hear. Therefore, behold, also his blood is required. And they knew that Joseph understood them, for he spoke unto them. They did not know that Joseph understood them, because he spoke unto them by an interpreter. So there's another reason why they didn't know it was Joseph. He was pretending not to understand them. And he turned about from them and wept, and returned to them again, and communed with them, and took from them Simeon, and bound him before their eyes. Then Joseph commanded them their sacks to be filled with corn, and to restore every man's money into his sack, and to give them provision for the way, and thus did he unto them. So this is the other part of that story where they thought, oh, you've stolen it twice. Oh, because they went back with the money they were supposed to spend to buy this stuff. So that would be thought of as thievery. This is where Muhammad doesn't get things. He messes the story up multiple times, because when you're you're listening to deceiving spirits, you just can't get it right. And they laded the asses with the corn, so they put the load on the asses, and they departed. And as one of them opened the sack to give his ass provender in the inn, he spied the money, for behold, it was in the sack's mouth. And he said unto his brother, My money's restored, and lo, it is even in my sack. And their hearts failed them. And they were afraid, saying one to another, What is this that God has done to us? And they came unto Jacob their father in the land of Canaan, and he told them, and they told him all that befell unto them, saying, The man who is the Lord of the land spake roughly unto us, and he took us for spies of the country. And we said unto him, We are true men. We are no spies. We be 12 brethren, sons of our father, one is not, and the youngest is this day with our father in the land of Canaan. And the man, the Lord, not the king, the Lord of the country, said unto us, Hereby shall I know that you are true men. Leave one of your brethren here with me. Take food for the famine of your household, and be gone, and bring your youngest brother unto me. Then shall I know that you are not spies, but that you are true men. So I will deliver you your brother, and you shall traffic in the land. So you can abide in the land. You can do commerce in the land. And it came to pass, they emptied their sacks, and behold, every man's bundle of money was in the sack. And when both of their fathers saw the bundles of money, they were afraid. So again, this is another way that story in the Quran is messed up. It wasn't just one sack this money was in. It was in everyone, all 10 brothers who showed up, all those 10 asses that went back with all this stuff. There was 10 bundles of money. So think about it. That would have been, if that was you would have been scared. Think about it. And it came to pass, they emptied their sack. Okay. And Jacob's, their father, said unto them, Men, you have bereaved of my children. Joseph is not, and Simeon is not, and you will take Benjamin away. All these things are against me. And Reuben spoke unto his father, saying, Slay my 2 sons, if I bring him not to you. Deliver him into my hand, and I will bring him to you again. And he said, My son shall not go down with you, for his brother is dead, and he is left alone. If mischief befall him by the way which you go. I mean, this is all the stuff that happened before they go. Now, when they get there, let's go on to the next chapter. They return. And the famine was sore in the land. It came to pass when they had eaten up the corn which they brought, so they delayed coming back. That's not communicated in the Quran either, is it? Came to pass when they eaten up the corn. There was a big delay here. These guys didn't want to come back. Can you imagine being the brother that was left?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. They didn't have a choice. So Judah spake unto them, This man did solemnly protest to us, saying, You shall not see my face, except your brother be with him. So if you will send our brother with us, we will go down and get more and buy food. If you will not send him, we will not go down. For the man said unto us, You shall not see my face, except your brother be with you. And Israel said, Wherefore, or why deal you so ill with me, as to tell the men whether you had yet a brother? And they said, The man asked us straightly of our state and our kindred, saying, Is your father yet alive? And have you another brother? And we told him according to the tenor of these words. Again, this is all important.
Right.
But it's not in the Quran. It's missing. I mean, and Judah said to Israel's father, Send the lad with me, and we will arise and go, that we may live and not die, both we and you, and also our little ones. I will be surety for him. Of my hand shall you require him. If I bring him not unto you, and set him before you, then let me bear the blame. This is Judah saying this. For except we had lingered, surely now we have returned the second time. And their father Israel said unto them, It must be so now. Do this, take of the best fruits in the land, in your vessels. Carry down the man a present. So they took presents.
Right.
A little balm, honey, spices, myrrh, nuts, and more. You notice all these things are missing.
Yeah, there's no details. It's just a bunch of words thrown in together that don't make sense. Here
And
we have details.
that's and again, we have names. We have we have names. We have things that actually went on. There's not a lot of confusion here. It's high. I mean, it's highly detailed. They even tell you what the gifts are: a little balm, a little honey, spices, and myrrh, and nuts and almonds. And I don't know if you're aware of it, but honey has different flavors too, or different tastes. The
Yeah, it
best way to put
depends
it.
on the location and the
Yeah.
flowers.
Yeah, I mean, so if you get honey from one place versus another, you might like one more, based on the different flowers. And I mean,
It's
when you go
also
to
why
the
they always tell you to buy local honey because of the allergies.
oh, I hadn't even thought of that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I hadn't heard that. Okay, and, and it goes on. Take double the money in your hand, and the money that was brought again. Okay, so they didn't just again. So they're going back to prove they're not thieves. They brought the money that was given to them, and now they want more, so they're bringing more back. So this is the part of the story that again is missing from the Quran. And take your brother and go again unto this man, and God Almighty give you mercy before the man, that he may send away your brother. Again, there's no mention of Allah here.
Right.
God Almighty, Allah is just too small. I'm sorry. And God Almighty give you mercy before the man, that he may send away your other brother and Benjamin, and and if I be bereaved of my children, I am bereaved. So this shows the faith of Israel. He didn't want it to happen. And I would say he probably had no choice.
Right.
And if you think about it, if you had a child missing, how willing would you be to take a chance on losing another child?
Yep.
Yeah, that would be hard.
Well, we can clearly see that by comparing the two, one is pretty much blank and the other one gives you all the details that you would be able to understand what it is that's going on in the stories that we see here. All right, let's take this out. Okay, so all right, so Jacob cries for Joseph instead of Benjamin, even though he knows Joseph is alive. And he turned away from them and said, "Oh, my sorrow for Joseph." And his eyes became white from the grief, so he was full of anger. They said, "We swear by Allah, you will continue to remember Joseph until you are very sick, or you be among the perished." That's a
Hey,
good
I
way
find
to
that
talk.
kind of interesting because they're only going to remember him until Joseph or Jacob dies, and then they're going to be like, we don't care anymore.
That's a good way to talk.
Yes.
Good way to talk to your dad. Hey, Dad, we'll continue to remember Joseph, until you're sick or you croak. Yeah, no problem. Okay, 86. He said, "Surely I only complain about my sorrow and grief to Allah, and I know from Allah what you do not know." Okay. Apparently, Allah seems to be talking to a lot of his prophets, but that's not the story that we're told. So how does Jacob or Israel, how does he know from Allah? Okay. "Oh, my sons, go and inquire of Joseph and his brother, and do not give up hope from the Spirit of Allah. Surely no one will give up hope from the Spirit of Allah except the infidel people. Oh, my sons, go and inquire of Joseph and his brother." Okay.
Hey, that doesn't make sense, does it? Because they don't know that. Because they're talking about Benjamin here, right?
No, I think they're talking about the one that was kept behind. Well, I
Which was
don't know.
Simeon. Simeon's left behind.
Right, but
Do
we
you know
don't know
what?
this in the Quran. We have no clue.
Yeah.
So, you know, Surely no one will give up hope from the Spirit of all except okay. So when they entered unto him, that just sounds so perverted.
Well, it's the Quran. It's full of perversion.
And
So.
when they entered into him, entered into who? I'm assuming Joseph. They said, "Oh, you the dear." What the hell does that mean? Oh, you the dear.
Maybe they're talking.
Distress has touched us and our family, and we brought the fish and merchandise. But notice here they brought the fish and merchandise. In the Bible, they brought twice the money.
Actually, they brought the sufficient amount. They brought the money, so they bought double what they should bring.
Yeah.
So this is again, it's a demonstration that the Quran is stupid.
They brought some goodies, some extra bonuses. You know,
yes, they brought gifts. That's correct.
And the almonds. Okay, none of that is here. Okay, so fulfill to us the measure and be charitable to us. Surely Allah will reward the charitable. Now, how would Joseph in the Quran? Well, I was going to say, how would Joseph know about Allah when he was among the Egyptians? How would the Egyptians know about Allah? Or
there's no mention of him in Egypt, not until they conquer Egypt.
Unless Joseph was old enough that he knew about Allah. Okay, so Allah will reward the charitable.
Hey, can we go back up to 87 real quick? Because I'm confused about that. Can you guys explain that to me?
Okay,
87.
Oh, my sons, go and inquire of Joseph and his brother, and do not give up hope from the Spirit of Allah. Surely no one will give up hope from the Spirit of Allah except the infidel group.
So when it says, and his brother, who is that?
We don't know.
See, that's if we're going by the Quran, there's no statement about who that brother is. If we're going from the Bible, we know it's Benjamin.
Right, but this is saying that they're talking about Joseph's brother, but they don't know who Joseph is at this time, correct?
Yes, they don't know that Joseph is alive. That's a very good point.
That's a good point, yeah.
Because Joseph didn't introduce himself to them.
Oh, another bit of confusion. I mean,
wait a minute.
He gets messed up again. Good
wait a minute. Upstairs, didn't he tell Benjamin that he was his brother, but not the other ones?
Well, Benjamin hasn't revealed himself yet.
Who, Benjamin?
No, he hasn't. Go back up.
Yeah, I think. What the hell happened here? What the?
Your screen went yellow, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. What the?
Or white. Okay, it kind of dimmed. That's what I should say. I don't know if you got an electric screen. Yeah, you got your plug in.
No, I have no clue what happened.
Okay. Oh, my sorrow for Joseph. They said, we swear by Allah. Surely I only complain about my sorrow and grief to Allah. I know. Again, there's nothing here that indicates that he has. I'll pull out my Quran here. Where is it? 13.
Okay, that one's working.
And we're in 50. Sorry, we're in 80.
12.
This is the sad stuff about the Quran. It's never right, unfortunately.
I think I got the color back.
Okay.
What was it? We were in
12. That's what it is. Okay.
We were in 84, right?
84. Okay. All right. Turned away from. Yeah, there's nothing here. He doesn't. So on verse 87, oh, my sons, go and inquire of Joseph and his brother. Again, you were right to point it out. He's talking about in the Bible, they think Joseph is dead. The brothers aren't sure if he's dead or not. They think he's a slave, but they don't have an idea. The brothers are the only ones who know what actually happened, but the father thinks he's dead. So the question is, why would Israel say, go and inquire of Joseph? That's a messed up thing. You're exactly right.
That would imply that they know Joseph is over there.
Yeah, they don't know. And that's what it comes down to. Allah doesn't know again. It's in the Quran. Allah doesn't know.
See, but
Oh, former Aryan.
if we go back to 69, where it says, and when they, I think this is when they brought Benjamin over to Joseph. And in 69 it says, and when they entered unto Joseph, he took his brother to him. He said, surely I am your brother. So he had already told Benjamin, well, we don't know who it is. It just says, surely I am your brother. Because I think he asked.
Okay, so in verse 69, you're right. Yeah, it says 68, and when they had entered into their father and commanded them, it was not averred. This is where the story gets messed up. Joseph reveals to his brother which one, which is what I like. Usama caught that, which one at the time of the brother's arrival in Egypt, that he is the brother. But as you read down, yeah, there's nothing here that indicates that there's nothing here that indicates that he, again, it's verse 81. I'm going back to verse 81. It says, return to your father, say, O our father, surely your son has stolen. We bear witness only of that what we know. So they have this gobbledygook about Benjamin. They have Joseph talking to Benjamin, and again, it's just messed. This story is so messed up. And if they think it's clear, you want to read the real story, the clear story, go to the book of Genesis. It's in, start reading around chapter 43 is what I've been reading, 42, 43. And, it's, and I share it with you. It's there. It's very clear. It's highly detailed. This is just messed up. Good catch on that, verse 87. All right. We're to verse 88.
So when they entered into him, okay, I still don't like that. Entered into him. They said, "Oh, you the dear." Again, we don't know what the hell does that mean. "Oh, you the dear." This is just like I don't know. Distress has touched us and our family, and we brought deficient merchandise.
Again, we say that they did bring enough.
Right. So fulfill us the measure and be charitable to us. Surely Allah will reward the charitable. So I guess this is Joseph. He said, do you know what you have done to Joseph and his brother? Who's talking?
That's a good question.
I thought it was Joseph speaking, but apparently not.
Well, there's no statement here that the name that, I mean, this name that suddenly appears here. I mean, how do they know the word? Yeah. How would Pharaoh's servant, who is Joseph, how would he know the name? They haven't said the name publicly.
I mean, so 89 says, he said, do you know what you have done to Joseph and his brother? Okay, so what did they do to the other brother? Well, I'm pretty sure they have an idea what they did to Joseph. So I guess he's asking them. He's still pretending not to be Joseph.
Okay.
So he's asking his brothers. Okay, what have you done to Joseph and his brother? Okay, but what did they do to the other brother when you were ignorant? What did they do anything to Benjamin? Benjamin also?
That's the only thing that in the Bible that Joseph doesn't know.
But I mean, I'm saying, did the brothers do anything to, let's say, Benjamin?
They were too scared. They lost, their father's reaction.
So they didn't do anything to Benjamin.
Yeah.
But according to this, it sounds like he's asking them, what have you done? Do you know what you have done to Joseph and his brother, which implies.
Oh, wait. Okay, so let's go on. And do you know what you've done to Joseph and his brother when you were ignorant? They said, are you surely Joseph?
Yeah, so now
this is where it gets confusing. So he said, I am Joseph, and this is my brother. Indeed, Allah has been gracious to us. Surely who fears and is patient, so surely Allah will not lose the wages of doers of good. Now, if that makes any sense. But yeah,
Okay, he said, I am Joseph, okay, and this is my brother. What brother?
that
Who?
would be Benjamin.
But
But
he didn't.
they're not clear. That's the point.
But he didn't keep Benjamin,
The
didn't
Quran
you?
doesn't have,
No, but that's right. Quran, we don't know who he kept
because
because
so no,
remember,
Benjamin is returned to him. So this is where Benjamin and Joseph are united, and yeah, that's what he's talking about.
but he was already reunited upstairs.
Yeah, yeah, and this
So,
is yeah, and Simeon's released again. These
right.
all these 11 brothers are his, but there are so little details here. That's the thing that tells you. I mean, when police and law enforcement do interviews, they're looking for details, they're looking for facts. And the lack of details here, the lack of information here tells them that this most likely is not a true story or something's off by the person who's telling it. And go do some interviewing of people in law enforcement. How do they tell if something's true or not? And they'll tell you about this type of stuff. I always find it interesting. This is messed up.
I mean, you talk about some confusion. Okay, are you surely Joseph? He said, I am Joseph, and this is my brother indeed. Okay. Why didn't he say you are my brothers? Because they were all his brothers. Half brother, but still brothers, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So
So
they
I
didn't
mean,
have I don't know that they had a,
different mother.
well, no, I don't know that they would have used the term half
Yeah.
back then that we use today.
All right. So we don't know who this brother is. So we'll have to assume that it's Benjamin. So he's okay because he only told Benjamin that that he was his brother. Indeed, Allah has been gracious to us. Surely who fears and is patient, so surely Allah would not lose the wage of the doers of good. They said, we swear by Allah, indeed, Allah exalted you above us, and that we were surely sinners. He said, no sin will be on you today. Allah will forgive you, and he is the most merciful of the merciful. So there's other beings that are merciful. I mean,
Well,
he's
that's the
comparing.
humor in the Quran. It makes you wonder.
He's comparing like if he's the most merciful of the merciful, that to me implies there's somebody else besides Allah who's merciful.
Well, Allah makes his own partners, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Okay.
Well,
Now,
hey, I'm wondering about that too. How does he know that Allah will forgive them? Did Muhammad ever make
That
those
is
kind of
an
claims?
excellent question. Wow.
I
And we
mean,
keep reading in the Quran, we keep reading that Allah doesn't really care.
yeah, he doesn't care, but I mean, he would have to have communication with Allah so that Allah sends Jibril to tell him that, yeah, I'm going to forgive. Allah will forgive you. Now, this one seems to be kind of interesting. The story of the sorcery shirt. So we got a shirt that does magic. Okay. So I guess this is Joseph speaking. Go with this, my shirt. So throw it on my father's face and he will recover his sight. Oh,
Wait a
so
minute. Wait a minute. Did anybody tell him that Israel was blind?
whoa, that's a good question. I haven't seen it. So how did he know his father was blind? Oh, come on, stop playing around.
There's nothing there that says
That
that.
is we have not read anywhere up until 93 where there's any indication that Jacob is blind or has lost his sight or is losing his sight. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, this is some good stuff. Hey, maybe he had maybe Allah gave him the crystal
Divine
ball or something,
inspiration.
magical ball or something.
I'm sorry. This gets funnier as we go on.
Okay. So go with my shirt. So throw it on my father's face and he will recover his sight. So now he's got a miraculous shirt. And bring me all your family. And when the caravan departed, their father said, I surely found the smell of Joseph. Were it not that you refute it.
Okay. I mean, I we're talking, more. We're talking more than 7 years that this is going on, and I mean, we're talking about 10. What are we talking about? 10, 14 years that he hasn't seen his dad in, and I mean, I'm not going to deny that Smella has the most connection to memory that
Right.
has, but to think that they're not crediting. This is the thing that bothers me with this is I found the smell of Joseph for it. Not that you, I mean, I'm not going to say it's not possible, but yeah, it does make you think that they're crediting a smell for the sorcery. It's crazy.
But I don't get the part where it says, I surely found the smell of Joseph, were it not that you refuted
He's
it.
challenging them to refute that
Oh,
Joseph
but
or that the smell
listen,
comes from a living Joseph.
I clearly see that I don't need Allah. I got you, man. You got this thing sewn up more than Allah because I mean this is like okay. Again, Arabic is definitely not something that makes sense. Definitely not in English. Okay, so 95. They said, "We swear by Allah, you are surely in you surely in your old." Okay, they said, "We swear by Allah, you are surely in your old era." What?
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, what the hell?
That's another passage where the Quran is absolutely clear and understandable. Where
If Joseph is talking, I mean, if Jacob is saying that he found the smell of Joseph, and he's telling his sons to refute him, and they answer in him, "You are surely in your old era." What does that mean?
they're basically telling him he's wrong. He's nuts.
Okay.
They're calling him a crazy man. Is what they're doing.
Okay. Okay.
They're saying, "Man, you got dementia."
Yeah, Joe Biden been hanging around you too long. Okay, 96. So when the bearer of good news came, who's the bearer of good news?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Okay, but wait a minute.
Didn't they already throw the thing on his face?
I was just going to say,
go back
Jacob,
just a little bit. Go back up just a hair.
Jacob already got the shirt because he smelt it.
Yeah, go with the shirt, throw it in the father's. And when the caravan departed, the father said, "Oh, maybe they didn't." Okay, so when the caravan departed, this is really confusing. He smells Joseph. When the caravan departed, father said, "I surely found the smell of Joseph, were it not that you refute it." This is really confusing. Okay, so they were amongst Joseph, and he said he smelled Joseph amongst them. So okay, Joseph must have some bad body odor.
But wait a minute, this is even worse. 93 is Joseph telling them to take his shirt.
Yeah.
And to throw it throw it on my father's face. And he will recover his sight. When the caravan departed, their father said, but wait a minute, how they're still with Joseph. How the hell did all of a sudden the caravan?
This is the clarity of Allah.
My goodness. I mean, how does he know about the shirt when they haven't even gotten to him yet? The guy just told him, take my shirt and throw it on my father's face. And now all of a sudden his father...
the only thing that makes sense is Joseph's BO must be so powerful, it precedes
he smelled it before they even got there. I mean, they haven't even gotten there, and all of a sudden we move to when the caravan departed. But the caravan departed from Joseph.
Yes.
The father wasn't there.
So how could the father say, I smell Joseph? To the story, Joseph's BO is so bad, it runs hundreds of miles before them.
Okay. I surely found the smell of Joseph. Okay. They said, we swear by Allah, you are surely your old era and your old era. So when the bearer of good news came, he cast it on his face. So he regained his sight. He said, did I not say to you that surely I knew from Allah what you do not know? I have no clue what he knows. 97. They said, oh, our Father, ask forgiveness for our sins We surely, no, surely we were sinners. He said, I will ask my Lord to forgive you. Surely he is the forgiving and the merciful. Okay.
Wait, who said that? Because didn't he already say that they weren't going to be?
I think the first one was Joseph saying that Allah is going to forgive their sins, something like that. I mean, come on, Larry. This is the best that Allah has. And then the Muslims tell us that we're confused. Yes, we are confused.
This is confusing. If you want to be confused, read the Quran.
Read the Quran. Okay,
you
Joseph.
Won't learn anything. You'll find that you'll be more compelled to read where the actual story is in the book of Genesis.
Marion says, reminds me of Allah's advice to beat a corpse with the cow meat to wake him up.
Oh, that's in the cow.
But it has to be a very bright yellow cow meat.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's not going to work.
And then the people have to keep asking, is it a cow?
Yeah.
Is it really a cow?
Is this a cow? Is this a cow? Okay. So according to Osama, Joseph speaks to his father and to his mother, who according to the Bible is actually deceased. Well.
Yes.
Oh. Okay. So how did he speak? Well, see, this is the beauty of Islam. His mother really hadn't died. The Bible corrupted it, and it said his mother had died. So Allah is correcting it and saying that his mother didn't die, and welcomes them into Egypt to become royalty. All right, so the whole family is going to be royalty. All right, and when they enter to Joseph, I still don't like that. I wonder if Shakespeare speaks like this. I'm going to have to pull up a Shakespeare book. And when they entered to Joseph, he lodged his parents with him and said, enter Egypt if Allah is willing in security. Well, they were already in Egypt, so why would they have to enter? Okay, 100. And he raised his parents to the throne. And, whoa, wait a minute. What throne? I thought the throne was only for kings.
Well,
how did Joseph get a throne?
Joseph had a seat of power.
Okay.
The word throne may be
just
if we're looking at the concept of nobles and that kind of concept. I don't think the word throne is an accurate statement, but
I gotta say, 100 is one long ass.
Yeah.
Okay. And he raised his parents to the throne. I'm not sure how you raise his parents to the throne.
He puts his parents on the throne.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I would have said, but sounds like his parents couldn't walk and he lifted them up and they fell down worshiping him. Uh-oh. Why are they worshiping him? I thought worship was only for Allah. They just committed shirk.
Well, now we have ancestral work. Okay, it's not. So we have child worship here. You're going to bow down and worship your children?
But they say you're not supposed to worship anybody but Allah. But here we have Jacob.
And the Jews will never worship anybody but God. So this goes against what the Jews believe as well.
Oh my goodness, we got Jacob, or I guess in the Quran this would be Israel. Worshiping his son. I mean their son. And he said, "Oh my father, this is the interpret." Oh, because he had that dream where he dreamt of 11 stars and the sun and the moon were bowing down to him. So that's the mother and the father worshiping him. But again, worshiping a human being is not allowed in Islam.
Not allowed in Judaism either.
Yeah. So you just committed shirk.
Oh.
And he said, "Oh, my father, this is the interpretation of my previous dream. Indeed, my Lord has now made it true, and he has indeed been good to me, since he took me out of prison and has brought you from the Bedouins." Oh, this got good. "After that, Satan had strived up strife between me and my brothers. Surely my Lord is kind to whom he wills. Surely he is the knowing, the wise."
Wise of what? Because he's shown us
Wise
he
of,
doesn't know what he's talking about throughout this
he is
entire
the
story.
wise of confusion.
The wisely
101.
confused.
My Lord, indeed, you have given me, no, you have given to me the kingdom and have taught me the interpretation of the sayings. Creator of the heavens and the earth, you are my friend in this world and the hereafter. Cause me to die a Muslim and gather me with the good.
So, I mean, that's quite a statement. Cause me to die a Muslim and gather me with the good. I mean, a submitter. That's what we're a submitter to Sharia. That's what Muslim is. Gather me with the good. I mean,
But we just witnessed Shirk. His parents worshipped him.
so
If his
shirk is
parents,
okay as
right.
long as Allah's okay with it. Is what it sounds like.
But here's the thing.
But
Now,
didn't Allah order shirk in the when we were reading a lot earlier?
wasn't Jacob or Israel a submitter to Allah? He would know that you're not supposed to worship anything besides Allah.
Well, apparently he knew better. I mean, because
I guess.
I mean, but then you got to remember that Allah has ordered angels to, worship. What was it, Adam? So I guess it's okay if Adam gets worshipped.
All right, 102 is confusing.
Yeah.
This is some of the news of the unseen that we revealed unto you. We have no idea what this news is of the unseen. You were not with them when they gathered their affair, and they were deceivers. What the hell does this even mean?
Let me read this one more time.
This is why we need the tafsirs, but then you go to the tafsirs, you go to 5 different tafsir scholars, and you get 5 different interpretations of the Quran.
Yeah.
So which one is the correct one? Because clearly,
well, what Usama keeps saying is there's a couple that they won't translate into English, or they have yet to, and that's quite a statement because the one he reads to us is yet to be translated into English.
Yeah, he likes to read Al-Tabari, which I have, but it's in Arabic, so it doesn't do me any good. Now there is a website that I have. Actually, I have that one and the one for what's the other one? It's Al-Tabari, and there's 2 of them. Let me see. But you have to use Google Translate, which is not 100% trustable.
No, because they purposely pervert things now. And if you haven't seen that, you can take Quran verses and put them in, and they will lie to you if they think it comes from the Quran. But if they think it doesn't, they will tell you what it's true. And that's yeah. Google Translate is highly influenced by Islam. And if you don't believe it, try it yourself.
Oh, it's the other one is Qurtubi.
Yeah.
They're in error. Now Qurtubi, they have last I checked, there's 4 or 5 volumes. I have the first 4 volumes that have been translated by some gal. Something Berry or something, but not the full collection. So you have to use Google Translate, which you and I know that sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, 103. And most people, even if you are careful, are not believers. Again, this makes no sense. Okay, 104. You do not ask of them any wage for it. Do not ask them for a wage for what?
Allah likes money of some kind. I mean, if it's he likes to be paid in actions at the very least.
Yeah, but see,
he's always into money.
But you're left. Excuse me. You're left hanging. Do not ask them. Do not ask of them any wage for it. For what?
Oh well, because Allah doesn't know. We'll have to wait for his perhaps to figure it out.
Okay. Then it goes on. It is not but a reminder to the world.
Reminder of what?
What is a reminder?
I don't think Allah even knows.
Okay. And how many signs in the heavens and in the earth, they pass by it and they turn away from it. and most of them do not believe in Allah, but they are polytheists. I can understand why I wouldn't believe in Allah either. I mean, we're only in chapter 12, and I'm like, there's no way. You don't even have to read the whole 114 chapters. This should be enough to tell you, run very far, because you may not, once you finish reading the Quran, your brain cells might be, 50% less. You might actually start seeing things like I start seeing things when I read this thing. Do they feel secure from receiving the covering of the torment of Allah?
Okay, well, say that again. Would you feel secure when you
What does he
receive?
mean by receiving the cover? Oh, okay, the covering of. Okay, do they feel secure from receiving the covering of the torment of Allah?
Wait a minute. Why would you feel secure when you're being tormented?
I have no clue.
I think that's an opposite world. If you feel secure when you're being tormented, something's wrong with your brain. Oh my gosh.
Or the hour will come to them suddenly, and they will not feel. Okay, so
That's because you've been tormented so long you can't feel anymore.
Say, this is my way. I call to Allah with acknowledgement, I and those who follow me, and praise be to Allah, and I am not of the polytheists.
Wait a minute. He just talked about somebody worshiping another god. So wouldn't that make Allah?
Yeah.
If these are the words of Allah, and Allah's the one who commanded worship of Adam, I still think I was into polytheism.
He didn't say anything about Joseph's parents worshiping him. He was silent, so as silent as consent according to Islam.
Yes, that's right. It's exactly right. Silence is consent according to Islam.
Because if you read it says that when you're talking to the virgins, if they don't complain, then it's okay.
That's consent. Yes, that's what the Sharia says. Yes.
All messengers who came before Muhammad were inspired from God, which proves that the Bible is inspired word of God. That is assuming that God is Allah, as Muslims claim. And we know that they claim that, but we know that that's not true. Okay, 109. And we did not send before you except men whom we revealed to them from the people of the villages. Have they not walked on the earth so they see how was the end of those who were before them? And the home of the hereafter is best to the fearer. Do you not understand? No, I don't understand what you're trying to tell me. Where are men supposed to walk if not on the earth? Okay, 110. Until when the messengers gave up hope and they thought they indeed were denied, our victory came to them, so delivered whom we will, and our torment was not turned away from the criminal people. So the messengers lost hope. Wow. Did they lose hope in Allah and his message?
Well, it sounds like they had fun torturing people.
I guess.
Our torment was not turned away from the criminal people.
Finish chapter 12. Alhamdulillah. 111. Indeed, and their stories, there was a lesson to those who have understanding. It was not a forged saying, but a confirmation to what is between his hands. Whose hands? And
we don't even know what we have no idea what was forged or wasn't forged. It was not a forged saying. Their stories was, if they're talking about the Jewish stories, you haven't communicated anything accurately. So,
and who's the audience here? I mean, we were talking about Joseph.
Yeah.
Now it seems like we're talking about Muhammad or somebody who has.
I think it's everybody listening to him is basically sitting in the background going, "He got the story wrong again."
It was not a forged saying, but a confirmation to what is between his hands, and an exposition on all things, and a guidance and a mercy to the believing people. But we have no idea who What's his?
No, they're all going, yep, he messed that one up.
This guy smoked some. What's that thing that the Indians smoke?
Peyote.
Peyote. Yeah, man.
That's the
What is?
Apache, I believe. Yeah.
What? Okay, but at least we gotta admit this is one chapter where the chapter name actually makes sense.
Well, it's actually mostly about, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, because remember the chapter of the table had 2 verses at the end of the chapter about a table that came from heaven to feed Isa and the disciples. The chapter of the cow had a few verses about a yellow cow being slaughtered and slapped on the dead body.
But we kept reading and reading and reading and
Yeah.
reading until we got there. There's too many verses in that chapter. All right.
Ooh, this one's even better. Chapter 13. We still got half an hour. The chapter of the thunder. Okay. Start off with the very, in the name of Allah, the merciful, the merciful. That doesn't make any sense, but that's okay. ALMR.
A word containing 4 Arabic letters without any meaning.
Yeah.
So this is
Alif
a
Lam Mim
demonstration
Ra.
the Quran is not clear.
These are, oh boy, wait a minute, hold on a second. These are the verses of the book that which has been sent down to you from your Lord, the truth. But most people do not believe. But what book? Muhammad didn't have a book.
There's no Quran at this point.
Especially not in chapter 12. Whoa. I mean, okay, but the people don't believe. But most of the people don't believe. I wonder why. Okay.
After reading that last story, I wouldn't believe either.
Heaven is a structure. The earth is flat and does not move, but the sun and the moon each travel. Here we go, verses. So this is repeated in chapter 15, chapter 16, chapter 20, and chapter 31, which...
Watch out, that sun will get you.
which we haven't gotten there yet. Okay, 2. Allah is who lifted up the heavens without pillars. Okay, so I think just the one that says Allah is the one who lifted up the heavens without pillars that you can see. So it does have pillars, but they're invisible. So Allah lifted. Could you verify for me that number 2 means pillars?
Okay, just a second. Imad, and I gotta find my mouse. And where are you, mouse?
Because
the joy of having 2 screens and I'm trying to figure out. There we go.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to have to pin.
Islamic scholars claims this to mean mountains.
Allah is who lifted up the heavens without mountains?
Yeah.
What the?
They're saying it means mountains.
No, that doesn't make sense. What the hell does that even mean?
Allah is who lifted up the heavens without mountains. Yeah, so you got to look at it in the mind of a very small-minded person. The heavens are held up without the support of the mountains. It's just very small-minded. I mean,
okay, it says columns here. Number 2, columns. Columns, non-Arabic words, Aramaic origin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, so columns, pillars, same crap. You said mountains, and I was trying.
That's what it said in the translation I have. Yeah.
Oh, but number 2, you jumped to number 3.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because number 3 is mountains. That's why he's like, okay. So Allah is who lifted up the heavens without columns. You see it. I say what? In most
translations, heavens without columns, I guess. You're supposed to see the heavens without columns.
In other translations, let me go look and see what it says in Islam Awakened. I mean, I know the verse pretty well. This is, what is it, 13:2?
13:2.
Let's see. I'm going to read the word for word. Okay. Allah is the one who raised the heavens without pillars that you see. Okay. Yeah. So basically, it has pillars or supports, but you can't see them. So they're invisible. Some of them say you can't see them. Okay. Okay, you see, okay, so Allah is who lifted the heavens without columns or pillars. You see it, then he sat on the throne. Okay, where's his throne? We don't know. Oh, it's above the water. And he made the sun and the moon subservient. Each traveled to its named time.
Did you know that wait a minute. Did you know that the sun actually travels?
Yeah.
Where does it go?
The sun actually orbits around the Milky Way,
Huh.
but it takes so long that you and I will probably be dead. I don't know, a million times. I forgot how long does it take the sun. Let me see. Yeah, to be honest with you, I didn't know that the sun also orbits.
Do we actually have this down as factual material? Because I actually have never
Yeah,
heard
I
that
think so.
before.
How long does it take sun to orbit the Milky Way? Now I'm hungry for a Milky Way bar. How long to orbit Milky Way? How long does it take the sun to orbit? Okay. How long does it take to orbit? Okay, yes, the sun, in fact, our whole system orbits around the center of the Milky Way. So it's not just the sun, it's everything. We are moving at an average velocity of 828 kilometers per hour. But even at that high rate, it still takes us about 230 million years to make one complete orbit around the Milky Way.
So to me, that's a statement that it can't be proven.
Hey, you know
That's
what I
a
have a
claim.
problem? Yeah, you know what I have a problem with? You know how they claim that they have telescopes that can see 50 light years away?
Mm-hmm.
Do
Yes,
you know how far 50 light years away would be?
it's beyond my imagination to comprehend.
I don't believe that crap. I do not see how you can have a telescope that, I mean, just the distance that the sun travels in 1 year alone. There is no way that you can see that far off. I think a lot of the stuff that they show us is bullcrap. It's digitized. There is no way. There was one of them that I think it said they found something like 80 million light years away. I did the calculation. I'm like, there's no freaking way. I don't know about the moon landing, but that's a different story.
It's the problem. The problem is the claim of how long. There's no way that the evidence.
I mean, I have no way of knowing how they calculated that it would take
That's
about
what I'm getting at. I think if you
230
rely
million years.
on the superstition of evolution, and you base all your science on that, then you have problems with the
Well,
concept of science.
that's what the science sources say. I mean, I don't know.
It's a
I can't
superstition. Evolution is plain and simple a superstition.
I can't prove that the science is wrong. I mean, they say that it orbits around the Milky Way. Who am I to say no? I can't. I don't know about that
I'd
stuff.
say put it up and prove it. But again,
I would like to go and look at one of those telescopes that can see billions of light. Oh, I'm sorry. It wasn't millions of light years away. It was billions of light years away.
And how do they prove something's billions of years away? Like years.
I don't know.
These are claims, and
if you know how far light travels in 1 year, which is a light year, now you're talking about billions of light years away. I mean, I don't even think.
You're saying it can be seen here through some means through that.
I don't believe that. I don't believe it.
Your measuring skills have that creates problems with measuring skills.
I mean, I don't believe it. If you have the technology to see something 8 billion light years away, I don't think we have that technology yet. Okay, so Allah lifts up the planet, blah, 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 and the sun and the moon and H travel to its named time. I don't know what that means. He arranges the affairs. Okay, that's great. He explains the verses. Whoa, wait a minute. Who explains the verses?
Wait,
Allah explains the verses?
Where does Allah or Muhammad?
Okay. Well, apparently this has to be about Allah, because I don't think that Muhammad lifts up the pillars.
So he explains the verses. I mean, that's kind of scary if we're going to take the guy's Allah's word for it, and he messed up last chapter so bad. I wouldn't want to be getting any information from this guy.
But again, Paul, who? Because it starts off Allah. Allah is who? So we know that this is not Allah speaking. Right off the bat, the chapter, we know that this is not Allah speaking. Let me see, what does verse 1 say? Verse 1 just says, these are the verses in the book which has been sent down. So we know that this is Allah speaking.
Well, you see it. He sat on the throne, and he made the sun and the moon subservient, each travel in its name. He, again referring to Allah, he, again referring to Allah, explains the verses. So it has to be Allah.
Yeah, so Allah is the one who explains the verses.
No, I think if you read that last chapter like we just did, and you mess it up that bad, I'm sorry.
He
If you
explains the
can't get
verses.
that story, even simple details that you mess it up that bad, you can't be trusted. I'm sorry, you're a bad source. No one should rely on you again.
So Allah explains the verses, which we know there's no explanation for verses. He explains the verses. Perhaps you may be certain of meeting your Lord. Again, who's talking? Muhammad? Okay, so verse 3. And he is who has spread the earth and put mountains on it and rivers, and of every fruit he has placed on it 2 pairs. Whoa, I want to see an apple tree with 2 pairs of different apples.
Wait a minute. On every fruit, not fruit tree, it's every fruit. So every apple now has 2 pairs on it. I'm sorry, that's messed up.
And he put the mountain on it.
How about an orange pear?
Yeah, but wait a minute, but mountains were not put on the earth. Mountains were mountains were caused by 2 tectonic plates that didn't have anywhere to go, and they got into a fight and they just went straight up.
Yes.
All right.
Well, Allah doesn't know those things because that would require
So
intelligence.
he makes the night to cover the day, but we know night and day are not things. They're just the absence of light. So
night is the absence of light.
Did Allah know that the earth rotates, and that's why we have night and day? Because one part of the earth is facing
no, he
the
doesn't,
sun?
because he thinks the sun sets in a muddy pool.
Yeah. So
again, Allah is so limited, and
it's almost like if night was a blanket that you would cover. He makes night to cover the day. All right. The night doesn't cover the day because the sun never stops shining. Right? So it's not like the sun turns off. Okay. Surely in this are signs to the people who reflect, and on the earth are plots next to each other, and gardens of grapes and plants and palm trees with split trunks and without split trunks.
Hey, you know what? We got a problem here. They're talking about, is this supposed to be a Meccan or a Medina verse? Do you know?
What is this? Chapter 13?
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Let me see. Let me pull up my spreadsheet on the Quran. Oops, it's a little bit further down. I think this is a Meccan verse.
Well, my reasoning is where there's a problem here is we're talking about a fruitful land. Grapes, plants, and palm trees and split trunks. We're not talking about a desert land.
It's no, this can't be it. What's the hold on a second. What's the name of this chapter?
This is the
Arabic
Thunder.
name. Yeah, now I'm trying to find the Arabic name of the chapter.
Ask me to pronounce it.
Okay, this is not the Chronicle. Okay, all right, Mecca order. Okay, now I have to look at the traditional order. Okay, so I'm looking for 13, 54. Okay. Oh, man. Maybe I'm wrong. 13.
But either way, if we're looking even at Medina,
okay. So this is chapter 13 is supposed to be chapter 96 in the Quran,
which would likely place it in Medina.
It's a Medina verse.
Again, we have a problem because these descriptions don't fit the area. Fruitful. We're talking about a very.
What area is Allah speaking about?
And this is the problem. It does the descriptions here. We're talking about a fruitful land, palm trees, plants, grapes, gardens of grapes.
Yeah, this is the right chapter, El Rod, which means the thunder. Yeah, this is supposed to be in chronological order. This would have been chapter 96.
96, yeah.
So this is towards, man, this is like almost at the end of the book.
I mean, this it says something. I mean, that they don't these descriptions, and I don't know. It just says something about you. You sit here and you wonder when you're reading this, where did they get these descriptions? Because we're talking about a desert people, and now you're talking about gardens of grapes and plants and palm trees.
Hey, Larry, sorry about that. I just noticed you had left the stage.
Yeah, he's actually traveling. He's listening to us.
Oh, okay. I just noticed he was not on the
Yeah.
on the panel. Okay, so yeah, so this is really chapter 96. Okay. Okay, so we got it is he who spread the earth and put mountains on it and rivers, and of every fruit he has placed on it two pairs. I don't understand. Does that mean a male and female apple? He makes the night to cover the day. Okay, surely in this are signs of who reflect, and the earth are plots next to each other, and gardens of grapes and plants and palm trees, with split trunks and without split trunks. So is it the palm trees that have split trunks and no split trunks?
I think that's an attempt to talk about hoofs.
They water by one water, okay, and we prefer some of them over others in the eating. Who prefers? Who? Is this Muhammad saying? I mean, this is
really
this is
bizarre.
if this is Allah speaking, is Allah telling us he has a preference? He's got a food taste. Surely, in this are signs for people who understand. So I guess it's not.
Is there any signs in what you just read that the Quran has problems? Maybe.
Okay, did I just mess something up?
No, I think you're fine.
Yeah, this thing keeps. I don't have a mouse. I have freaking pads.
Oh yeah,
and it.
I'm used to that now. I'm not used to a mouse anymore.
Oh, you're with the pad.
I'm mouseless.
Oh, you're mouseless. Okay, and if you wonder, so wonder they're saying, what if we were dust? Will we be a new creature? Okay. Those who became infidels in their Lord, and those are the chains on their necks, and those are the companions of the fire, and they will abide in it forever. And they will hasten you with evil before the good. And indeed, punishment was passed before them. And surely your Lord is the possessor of forgiveness to people for their injustices.
I want to come back just a bit. It says, and we're looking at verse 5. What if we were dust? Will we be a new creature? Those who became infidels in their Lord, those are the chains on their necks. Does that make any sense?
No.
So they have chains on their necks because they're infidels. I mean, and those are the companions of the fire. They will abide in it forever. So us, I guess that's a reference to us who recognize that this book is really messed up. Okay, and they will hasten you with the evil before the good. It's not very clear. And
I mean, I know there's a hadith that says you are the best of the people as you carry around the infidels with chains around their necks until they become Muslims.
Yeah.
That's a hadith that contradicts the no compulsion. Why would you have people with chains around their necks until they convert? But yeah, I mean, none of this makes sense, okay? And your Lord is a possessor of forgiveness. 7. And those who became infidels say, were it not that a sign had been sent down on him from his Lord. Surely you are only a warner, and to every people is a guide. I mean, this is like, okay. According to Muslim scholars, women can be pregnant for a length of time from 6 months to up to 4 years. What's what is number
Okay.
4 by any chance?
But
Number
we're talking
4?
about the
Revealed.
problem. We are talking about the problem known as Muhammad.
Yes. Okay, revealed. Okay, it's 4 years revealed. Okay. All right, let's see. Let's see what Allah knows. Allah knows that every female bears. Oh, okay. Allah knows what every female bears and how much their womb lessens and enlarges. And with him, everything is by measure. The knower of the unseen and the seen, the big and the highest. What the hell, man? And it is the same to some of you who hide the saying or speak it loudly, and who hides himself by the night and goes forth by the day. Okay, but where did,
Okay,
but
now
I'm
let's talk
confused.
about the 4 years.
Yeah, where do we
Okay,
see
the
4
reason why he
years?
says this, the 4 years, there's a problem if people don't know it. It's that Muhammad's father was absent during the period where she could have gotten pregnant. He supposedly died 4 years before he was born, at least 4 years. It's up to 6 years, I've heard. So Muhammad's mother became pregnant when the person she claims who is his father was already dead. So that's the reason for this discussion.
Yeah, but here's my problem that I have with these couple verses. Osama's saying that okay, according to Muslim scholars, okay, but the verses themselves do not imply that a woman
It's
can be
revealed
pregnant
in
from
the
6 months
original
to 4
Arabic,
years.
he says.
Huh?
Yeah, I think he says it's revealed in the original Arabic, isn't that?
Yeah, but he's supposed to be telling us what the Arabic says.
I'm going to the
And I don't see anything here that would imply a time period of 6 months to 4 years.
That's what it's about.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, if you go probably read the tafsirs, which is probably where he's getting that from. Okay. Allah will accept only good people after people change themselves. To him shifts angels, which is not in there. To him shifts angels from between his hands and from behind him, and they keep him from the command of Allah. What? Who keeps the command? Who keeps from the commands of Allah?
To him shifts be from behind his hands and from behind him. They keep him from the. They keep who?
I don't know.
Wait a minute. If this isn't Allah, are you saying Muhammad has angels between his hands?
I guess.
That's kind of scary to think about. I mean,
to him,
would that not mean that Allah and Muhammad are equals?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I don't think that. Let me see. This is 13:11. Let me see if there's even the word Malik in there. 13:11. Yeah, there's no angels in the verse.
Yeah, that's what he said. That's why the brackets are
there. For him, successive from between. Oh man, the Arabic is even worse. For him, successive.
Yeah,
from between his hands and from behind him, who guard him by command, Allah. Indeed, Allah not change the condition of the people until they change what in themselves. And when wills Allah for the people misfortune, then no turning away of it. I mean, the only way that they could even make the Arabic, the word for word, was to throw in a lot of words in parentheses to make it make sense.
Yeah.
Because the verse says, for him are successive angels. But there is no angels, because I know the word for angels, and it's not here. So I mean, if you were to read this, it doesn't make sense. Because if you take out the words that give it a little bit coherency, you have no clue what the hell it's talking about. For him, successive, from between his hands. What does that even mean? From oh, God help Allah. Okay, to him shifts angels from between his hands. So what? He's got angels between his hands. Is that like he's playing patty cake or
I
something?
still think it's closer to Mo playing patty cake. Yeah, I think
Okay.
it's Mo playing patty cake. Surely Allah will not change what is in a people until they change what is in themselves. And I mean,
And then the funny part is,
in Christians, we say we say this a lot. We say God needs to work on you, and He changes you from within, not you changing yourself from without. And when you see that person doing a change from without, and that's the outward appearance. Okay. The question is, how did somebody really change? And that takes time to observe, because you see people who will put on a facade, they'll wear a mask, and this is where Allah doesn't get that, apparently.
I mean, this is just
It's quite a statement to say Allah doesn't change people.
yeah.
So this is the reason not to worship Allah.
Yeah, I think we'll stop on 12, and then we'll pick up on 13. Hopefully next Saturday.
Okay.
Unless you want to start doing some shows and for like an hour or so during the weekdays.
I most time am free until
I think like maybe
we'll
6.
see. I'm usually free in the evenings.
Yeah, like 6 to 6:30. I'm
Six,
sorry,
that's
like 6 to
There's 2
7:30.
days I'm out, Tuesday and Thursday, so I can't. That's it.
Yeah, well, yeah. Tuesday we're usually on Eric's, and then Thursday
And
you're doing
then
yours.
there's my show on Thursdays. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe like Monday, Wednesday, or something like that.
Thursday after, Wednesday. I say Wednesday. I'm usually busy with kids too. I'm working with little kids.
Okay. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Okay, we're going to stop at 12 so we can pick up on 13 because it's almost 6:30. We've been at it for, 2 hours?
Yep.
I don't want to get yelled at by certain people. Okay.
See, Marianne got it. That's what I was trying to get at. The fact that Momo's mommy, Amina, was believed tells us how exceedingly gullible the first Abduls were. Yeah. 4 years she was supposedly pregnant.
No, I mean, we know that Muslims are definitely gullible because
Well,
I mean,
I don't think it's just gullible. I think what it is they were forced to accept it. Because in Islam, you have no choice. You are forced. You are a submitter. You get no choices. It's not like
I mean,
God
seriously,
expects you to use your brain.
I had a conversation with a guy today who was trying to tell me it was a miracle of Allah that Solomon was dead for a year, leaning on his staff, and nobody knew that he was dead. Okay.
Yeah, where'd you get that one from?
Get what from?
Wow.
Well, it's in the Quran. Solomon dies and he's dead. I think we covered it. I think it was one of the chapters that we read where Solomon.
It comes down to is if you have no choice, you have no brain. You're not allowed to use your brain. You're not allowed to use logic. You're not allowed to use common sense. That's the only way Islam functions is if you don't allow yourself to think.
But it also would mean that those of us who start off with a brain become a Muslim. It's almost like you give up your brain. Well, first of all,
if you've got dementia, it's easier to be a Muslim.
But first of all, I don't understand how if you had a working brain, you could ever become a Muslim. Well, but I know people, I mean, not personally, but I know of people who you and I would consider to be very smart, academia, people with PhDs, people that are doctors, scientists, and they convert to Islam. And I'm thinking to myself, why? I don't have a PhD in anything.
Well,
but I'm not going to become a Muslim just based on the crap.
I have met many PhDs who have no common sense.
That is true. I call them intellectual idiots.
Yeah, intellectuals, but no capacity to use their brain properly, which is the unfortunate truth of it. And
you also have people that are very book smart, but outside of a book, they're dumb as a doorknob.
Yes.
They might, they might know physics and all that stuff, but you take them outside of physics and it's like their brain stops. Yeah.
I have a relative who knows absolutely everything I can think of about one particular field. You take her outside of that, God help us.
You know, it,
Clueless about the
this
world.
is how sad it was. I had posted some videos on my Twitter thing. It was basically videos where people go to colleges and they ask common questions, right? And one of the questions that this guy was asking people out on the street was, okay, if you're traveling 60 miles an hour, how far do you travel in 1 hour? Nobody could answer that question. Now, these are the people that are going to get their student loans forgiven.
My
I
my
mean,
my my wonder would be is how much editing they did to get that out.
I mean, they showed pictures of Mike Pence. These people did not know who Mike Pence was. But here's the funny thing: the guy said, "Can you name the Kardashian sisters?" Oh my goodness, they named them off like that. They couldn't tell you, okay, what happened in 1776? Who fought? You know, what war was fought between whom? The Civil War. Who fought the Civil War? Who won the Civil War? They don't
Well,
know that stuff.
I'll say this: I'm going to give a teaser for tonight's show with Usama. We've been going through a Dawa series that was done in New York City, and what they did was give a word and ask people to respond to the one word or a picture. And again, the purpose was for Dawa, was for spreading Islam. When you hear the responses of the people, which is what we're responding to, it is they appear incredibly stupid, and some appear very knowledgeable. And I think they picked these particular four, I would say 2 or 3 sets of people, dependent on like one incredibly stupid, know nothing, and another one, maybe know something, and then a guy who's like, man, I'm high. Leave me alone. But even he shocks them
I
with
mean,
a little bit more knowledge.
I'm like, oh my God, these are the future. Okay, let's finish this crap.
Yeah.
Okay, surely Allah will not change what is in the people until they change what is in themselves. But here's a good one. And if Allah wants evil for people, so there is none to avert it. So if Allah wants evil for people, you're gonna get evil. There is no way that anything is gonna change. You're gonna get evil. And they do not have a friend other than him. I mean, what kind of friend if he's going to give me evil? I don't want that kind of friend. He is who shows you, he is who shows you the lightning fearing and hoping and brings up the heavy
Remember, Muhammad was afraid of clouds and thunder.
and brings up the heavy clouds. But wait a minute. I mean, who shows you the lightning fearing?
Well, that's because Muhammad was fearful of this of rain. He was fearful
that
of
doesn't make
thunder.
any sense, Paul. What the hell does you the lightning fearing?
Well, you got to look at it. If you look at it from Muhammad's point of view, if there's any lightning, there's reasons for you to run outside naked. I mean, your reason for you to cower. There's a whole bunch of that the pervert running
And he
around naked
brings
type
up
thing.
the heavy clouds, and they'll say,
He's
"Oh,
scared.
look, that's a miracle. Allah is talking about clouds have weight. Oh my goodness. Oh man. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I see we made it up to 8, or at least 8 that I could see. Marion, XY, Jesus, thank you guys. Dragon, if you're still here. My Jewish next door neighbor with a master's degree didn't know where Mecca was.
Well,
I'll
master's
tell
degree
you.
doesn't mean geography. It might mean,
Yeah, I mean,
education or something like that. But
I can tell you there's things that I've forgotten over the last 30 years that I probably, but I
I
gotta
did like
say,
the one she put up there, Mexican-American War. Which country was it fought? Which countries fought? And the people on the streets couldn't answer. It does make me laugh.
I mean, there was some stuff I'm thinking that, and I'm like, man, I know this stuff, and I've been out of school for 30 years.
Yeah.
This is, and it goes to show you that we're not, I don't know what the hell we're teaching these kids. We're not teaching them anything.
They're trying to push a socialist
Yeah.
LGBTQ agenda globalist agenda right now, which is
I'm telling you,
overpowering
I pray
the
to God.
reading, writing, and arithmetic.
I pray to God that in November there is like a red tsunami, because if not, I feel sorry for America. I don't think
And when I say these things, people, I'm a retired teacher. I taught for over 20 years, and it's something to think about when a teacher is telling you that. So,
I mean, I do not think that we can survive 2 more years of this crap without something seriously happening, because with the corruption in the FBI, the DOJ,
and an illegal judge illegally who has no right
I
to signing a warrant, something.
I keep hoping that X-22 report is correct and this is a reverse sting. And I can understand why they say
That's actually
this
what
would not have been possible if Trump would have been president, because he would have been accused of going after political opponents. He's not president.
Yes.
The people are doing all this stuff now, like the voter fraud.
Yes.
Okay, you got states, you got state legislators doing audits. You got groups of individuals doing audits.
In New York State, we have a New York audit group. Yeah, I mean, right. It's in almost every. We had a report the other day from every state. You can find it on Mike Lindell's TV program.
Yeah, I saw that. Now I showed you. I gave you that video, which I made it a pin in my Twitter, where it's that lady, Chris Ann Hall, who's a constitutional lawyer. That video that she did of non-compliant, that is an awesome video. I ordered her book, and she has other videos on there where she talks about the history of the Constitution, things that even I wasn't taught in school, because she says they've stopped teaching the correct Constitution after certain periods. And it's just amazing. Oh, and now we found out that it's true that Ashley Biden's diary is actually true, because 2 people are going to jail for it.
Well, they tried to put Project Veritas to jail for it, but
yeah. Well, that's who it was leaked to. I happen to have a copy of the diary.
Oh, wow.
Okay, but here's the thing. So now that proves that what we're talking about, our president taking a shower with his little daughter, should be very concerning to people, because that's in her diary, and they just proved it that it's true.
Hey, the proof that they went. I mean, that was the reason Project Veritas wouldn't release the information.
And here's the other thing. Mark Zuckerberg kind of pretty much admitted to Joe Rogan that he interfered in the election by suppressing Hunter Biden's laptop.
Thanks to the FBI.
Yeah. And now what really pisses me off is we got TikTok, a Chinese company that Trump had banned, right along with, what's the other one? Hawaii, whatever. Biden comes in and he reverses everything that Trump does. Now TikTok is going to tell us what is election misinformation. We're going to have a bunch of communist people using an app that steals everybody's information, including your credit card people, because anytime you send money to one of the creators, it's kind of like you send money on YouTube through the super chat. They have all your information. They were also sued, I found out, by people, I can't remember what state, for facial recognition. They're creating a database of your face. Now, why do the Chinese need your face? Why do they need your information? And again, why is it they were bitching and complaining that the Russians interfered in our election? But it's okay for us to use Chinese communists to tell you and me what is election misinformation. Like, hello, you people need to go to jail.
I'm hoping to have the New York audit on my show soon. I gotta say good night, everybody.
All right, Paul, thank you for coming.
Yeah,
you're doing a show with Osama
at 10 o'clock. Yes,
you guys gotta get me on that show sometimes.
All right.
All right, Paul. Thank you very much. Everybody else, thank you. I am shutting down. Thank you. Don't have an extra. Larry, thank you for coming. Marion says the Russian story was a hoax. Yes, it was a hoax. Everything's been a hoax. Europe is in bad shape too. France and Germany now have third world. Yes, and you guys are going to be really in some serious trouble come winter time with the whole gas and all that other stuff. So it's going to be a mess, people. It's going to be a mess. Well, anyway, God bless you guys. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your support. XYZ Dragon. I can't see all of you. And we'll see you again. If I do an early show, if you subscribe, then you should get the notification. But if nothing else, look for me next Saturday, sometime between 4:30 and 6. If Osama comes on, it will be at 6 o'clock because I think that's good for him. If not, I'll try to do it at 4:30, so that way I have some time to do some other stuff. If you guys are on Clubhouse, look me up. I am the what am I on Clubhouse? Oh, I'm Abdul Not. So thank you, everybody. God bless. And look, Marion, now it's 12 o'clock on your end. Oh, actually, now it's almost 1 o'clock on your end. Larry, have a good one.